Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at some Evelynn gameplay and also talking about how you can know if you're actually improving on the champ you play and what you should really be looking at, right? So to start off, obviously a lot of you will... What the fuck? The first thing a lot of you will think of when you hear improvement, right? You will think, okay, well, obviously like how much I win, so my win rate, and then like my rank, right? Yeah, those are like great things, right? And then what else, right? Like, I don't know, like performance or something. Right, so you have these types of ideas, right? Where people would say like, yeah, I'm like getting S all the time, S strength, or you say like, yeah, I got diamond, or yeah, I got this win rate. And okay, these are like pretty good predictors. Kind of, well, not the S rank thing, but let's say that your performance is you go like 20 kills every game, right? But why are all of these still not the best? So with win rate, okay, you can say that you're getting better, sure. But the question is, are you going in the right direction and how much better are you getting, right? Like, is higher win rate always better? Well, no, because going to 100% win rate is about abusing tricks, abusing mistakes and stuff like that, and not actually about your own gameplay as much anymore. Because the stuff that I will use to get high win rates on accounts is not the same stuff that you will use to, for example, I don't know, play in master above and like try to perform in most of your games, right? It's just not the same stuff. So win rate does predict how much we improved and how good we are at our champ, but it's only to a certain extent, right? Then rank obviously does again predict to a certain extent, right? But okay, let's assume that we did play this champ and it's our most played and stuff, right? And this is the rank that we got, right? So yeah, I mean, yeah, kinda. But again, the same thing as with win rate, you can play in certain ways which will increase your rank temporarily, but they might still make you have a harder time climbing in the end later on. Which does mean that you did improve, yeah, but you might not have improved as much as your rank or win rate are trying to say, right? And your performance, right, like going 20 kills or something, that stuff is fine, but it's also awkward because then we have issues where, well, are you actually like taking objectives? Are you actually like playing with your team? Are you like consistent, whatever? Or what's going on there? As a combination, all three of those stats together can kind of tell it to you, but I think there's a better way to tell if you're improving at your champ and how much you're improving, right? So that's why I want to look at this random video on Evelynn that I found, right? So I haven't watched this before, so this is like a good example, right? So I think that the easiest way is for you to watch someone else play your champion, and then you try to figure out, okay, well, what are they doing wrong? You try to predict, for example, on this example, right? Like, okay, well, how badly do they do their clear? Like, do I see anything wrong with it? What timer are they gonna end up on? Where are they making a mistake where they could like die or something? You don't have to always be right, because it's not like the enemy that they play against will play perfect, right? But it's just like ideas, right? And then if a lot of stuff like that tends to happen, especially if you watch like high elo VODs, I don't know what elo VOD this even is, but if you watch like high elo VODs and they do play around that, or they do get punished for those things, like for example, when I made that review on Agarin, we looked at it and some of the stuff just didn't make sense and he'd get punished for it, right? So if you look at stuff like that, then it's going to be pretty obvious that you can actually see it. And also if you can see the opportunities that they take or don't take or whatever. So right now, okay, not the biggest fan of this because he didn't smite the blue buff. So his clear will be a bit slower. Then if he smited and then did Grump. And then we do this and he decided to smite this. So he already lost like 3-4 seconds probably because of improper kiting, improper clearing, stuff like that. Okay, okay, if he's going to full clear after this, that's really disastrous. He's lost like, I don't know, probably 8 seconds. Or more. Because he's just clearing wrong, right? But you should be able to tell this stuff during the clear and not after it. Like if you tell after it or at the end of it, like, ah, yeah, the timer is off or like he's behind or something. I mean, that doesn't mean much. But if you can actually find the mistakes themselves in the gameplay and optimizations, then that likely means that you know them. And then the rest of that is just judging, okay, well, would I do that or would I not? And obviously you have to be a bit honest with yourself for that to work. But I think if you are honest with yourself, then it's probably the best way of really assessing it. So like here, for example, I think my Lisa's clear is like 305 or something, and he finishes this at like 318, I don't know, something like that. So yeah, pretty much what I said, right? He ended up like 13 seconds behind because he kept losing time even after that. But he was 10 seconds behind off just his blue side clear. He didn't lose that much time on his red side clear. Okay. So then we're looking at this and it's like, okay, well, what do you do after this? And there isn't really too good of an option. I would prefer to have the yellow trinket though, because then we could get some vision before we base, but yeah, basing just seems like the best option. Okay, a bit of a slow buy. Or well, he could have like started walking out of base before, but it's there. No problem. And he walks topside, unlikely to really get a scuttle, but sure. Maybe he does. Scopium. Capium. Okay. And then Hecarim's killing and okay, whatever. Not really too much of an issue with this. There is stuff that he could have done differently, but nothing too big. This wave is like pushing, and if it was another champ, maybe we'd consider like some kind of a dive or a gank or whatever, but it's corner, so fuck that. Because his clear was slow on the first clear, he has to now wait again. So that is a bit disgusting. Because he did slightly better this time than last time. And you can see that because his clear on the first clear was bad, now every single camp ends up being like slightly delayed at least. Like he had to wait for wolves, and now if he did the wolves faster, then he would have to wait for this, and so on, and it's just a bit disgusting. Like after this, I would like to actually gank, but he's not gonna do that. Or is he? Oh, he is. I mean, he has 10 seconds on his Crux, so he's kind of forced to gank. But I'm pretty sure he was defaulting to Crux, but he just noticed that like he has 10 seconds on it. Because it doesn't make sense the way he walked otherwise. Right? And then you can already tell that this is a bad approach for a gank. And this will time out. And she flashed for no reason. But yeah, like when you look at this gank, the question is when can you tell that it's like bad or whatever, right? And when can you tell that people are playing wrong? Like here, the Evelynn is walking like this instead of walking like this, which makes no sense. Then she's casting her charm too early if you pay attention to the fight. Like, why would you cast your charm so early when the minions are gonna block you, right? And then if you're gonna do it like that, then you might as well use E for move speed and then try to catch up or something, you know? And then, okay, so guess I ran at after the gank, nothing happens. And again, not the right way to charm. And not the right way to approach fights either. But this should work out for him anyway. But he tried to use Q before E again. And then his E got broken by Hecarim's E, so he just completely griefed it. And he lost Flash, and he didn't get killed. Oh my god. Right? But as you can see, you can identify stuff that people do wrong in terms of like habits and whatever else during the plays themselves and before them, right? So like here, like this is fine standing here, right? But the rest of this fight was not so good. But then here it's like obvious, like, okay, well, if I try to Q from here, I can miss, right? And then both of his spells, like his Q damage and his E damage, get cancelled, so obviously then you're gonna lack damage, right? If you stay in melee, well, Monka is... Now let's just look at like a bit more and then wrap it up, because I only wanted to really give you the method. So then we're looking at this stuff, right? And okay, so right now we just want to get 6. So okay, we do 3 camps, we get 6. And now after we did 6, we want to do something. So then we want to know what's up, what can we actually do, right? So Hecarim just got like kills and whatever. So maybe it does Dragon, I don't know. But we would have liked to know if Hecarim ulted or something. Okay, Hecarim is full HP apparently, and here. And this is obviously really bad again in terms of how we're spacing and playing the fights. Like playing too far back now, you know, so the enemy Hecarim actually gets to get away from us. Like this, clicking back, right? We press W and then we don't go in, which is not so good. We're playing too scared. With those things, it becomes like really obvious what's gonna end up happening. And if you can tell stuff like that from people who are worse than you, then it's likely you're pretty decent at your champ, right? I mean, obviously you can tell stuff even from people who are not much worse than you, like even if you're not very good on the champ, but it should at least mean that you know the stuff, right? And if you know it, then you can apply it. So then the only question is how much do you apply, and as I said before, if you're honest with that, then you're gonna know if your level is improving or not. But also having your old gameplays could be even better, but that's like quite a bit to ask for. It's easier to find gameplays of people who are just worse than you than it is to find gameplays, well, to have your own old gameplays, right? And to track your progress with that. But that would technically be the best way, to just have like recordings from, like, say you have a recording now and then in 6 months you like check for improvement and then you check the old recordings, right? And then so on, and you could compare that, which would probably be the best way, but this is, in my opinion, the second best way. Either way, if you enjoyed the video, then like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.